everyone, this is Annatjie von Below from Winterton in the Northern Cape, and this is a small village near Kimberley, 60 kilometers from Kimberley, for those of you that doesn't know me. So this will be my first tutorial in English, so please be patient if maybe I mix up some of my words. Today I'm going to attempt to show you how to make a painting from next to nothing with Granny B paint, as well as the new Charron range. What I want you to see is that I've taken a board, just a piece of super wood, and it's a 6mm thick, and I've already painted the background with red velvet from Granny B. I normally use some of the darker colors for my background because I want you to see the contrast when I do the painting. So firstly, I'm going to attempt to make a pot and then a vase, and I'm just going to use a piece of charcoal, and I'm just going to do some very plain lines which I can use the pot in, which I will put in my flowers. And then I will also draw two lines which I will use as a foreground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some texture paste. This is just a patch of paint. It's a sort of a normal polyfiller, and I'm just going to put it on my vase because I just want to put some texture on my vase. So with a plain kitchen knife, I'll attempt to do this, only putting some texture paste with a kitchen knife on top of the vase. And once I finish doing that, I'm going to take some bubble wrap, and I'm going to put the bubble wrap on top of it while it's still wet, and I'm going to roll it with a cake roller with a rolling pin, and I'm just going to make some texture. So I'm going to take the bubble plastic with a bubble side at the bottom, just press it in here, put some pressure on your rolling pin, and have this lovely texture. If you see there's a spot that I've missed, you can always go back, press in nicely, and get it again. Now you can use your knife to sort of smooth your edges, and even while it's still wet, you can use some more texture paint. What I did is I just took a stencil and put some texture paint on top of that, so that I've got a bit of a pattern on top of my vase as well. So I just did that, take it off, and there I've got this nice texture with a pattern as well. I'm just going to lift it up a bit. Here you can see that the texture paste wasn't thick enough, so even if you go back a bit and redo that small part, and you can put pressure on it again with your rolling pin. Now you can take it outside or leave it out somewhere so that it can just dry before you paint it. What I've done, I have already made one in advance. So this one is dry already. As you can see, I can put my hand on it and there's nothing that sticks to my hand anymore. So what I'm going to do the foreground firstly. I'm just taking pieces of box, a carton, and I'm going to take some yellow, and this is the yellow from Charron, the Kalahari, and I'm going to smear it where the table should be, because yellow is the most advancing color that you get, and you have this nice and beautiful red velvet at the background already, so you don't need to do the whole thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the white as well. The white's name is Witklip, and I'm going to add it to my yellow with this pieces of box of cotton, and I'm just going to use this as a brush in different strokes. Just to make my foreground stand out. I'm also going to use a darker color, and in this case I'm going to use the Sutherland, the black, and around the edges there I'm just putting some of the paint there, as well as where my table has its edge, and I'm smearing it a bit so that it all get sort of blend together. And I think we can use this for this time being. I'm going to use a number 9 brush, and I'm going to do the pot now, and I'm going to use the Blauberg. What I want to do is I want to do it in a very watery color. So I'm going to use a lot of water, do my pot in Blauberg, using a lot of water so that all the paint runs into all the small grooves. And now I'm just going to take a little bit off. I just want to dab onto it with a wet cloth. Now you can use another color to highlight it, and in this case I'm going to use the Namakwa, just brushing over it so that my patterns show off nicely. And I'm just going to use it for leave it like this for the time being. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bit of background also, and I'm also going to use some of the pieces of cotton because I want to work very quickly. I'm going to use the windpomp again on my background. Just smear it all over the place, except in the middle where the flowers should go. And I'm also going to use a bit of the Turks Vy. This is quite an expressionistic painting. And what I'm going to do is I'm still going to use some of the Sutherland, put it on the back here, where it shows that there's a background forming. Also here and around the pot. And now I'm just going to leave it like that for the time being. And now I'm going to use my paintbrush, and in this case I've got a number 7, and I'm going to use some of the bouillant, and I'm going to make a few leaves. The leaves are the base of your painting, because all the flowers should be on top of the leaves, a bit all over the place, a few leaves here and a few leaves there. And what happened here, don't be troubled, just take it off a bit. I'm going to use some of the Granny Bees G.I. Jane, the green, dark green, and also highlight some of the leaves with it. And lastly, I'm going to use some of the wit clip, and I'm going to add a bit onto each leaf. Now I need to do some flowers. I think I'll just make some roses. I'm going to take white, the wit clip, and as you can see, my paint is still wet, so I sort of make a circle with the white, the wit clip, do a few roses, and some of the background colors are blending in together. So we can just add some more, make big circles of white. And once they are done, you can put in a bit of black in their centers. And now I'm going to take some of the Charron Son, and I'm just adding that in sort of stripes to my rose. Once I'm finished doing that, I'll take some of the Protea, the lighter color, and add it in where the lines are open. And now I need to put everything together. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking some of the wit clip again and add it for the third layer onto my wet rose. I take a lot of paint on my paintbrush and bring all the colors together. I'm just going to make a few dots with yellow in the center. And I still need to bring the whole painting together. So what I'm going to do with the yellow, I'm going to make a few dots and soften the whole painting. As you can see, I pick up some of the background colors as well. Just a little dabbing of yellow, and even in between. And now for the last finishing touches, I'm going to use some of the Turks Fay and add it to the yellow. If you want to make or let the leaves stand out some more, you can always add a few stripes. That one is fine. And now at the bottom here, I just took some of the G.I. Jane, added it here to the bottom, just with brushing strokes, and at the at the sides of the pot, and here where we need a bit of shadow. You can also use some of the wind pomp, or you can use some of the Sutherland, just to add a bit of shadow to the pot. And lastly, I'm just going to add some of the wit clip and make a bit of a highlight on the pot here. Then we've got this lovely texture. This is a very expressionistic work of art. You can always add some more white to the foreground, and this is just to show you can express yourself so easily with what you've got in your home. You don't need to go out and buy expensive brushes. Use the paint that you've got and try and make something beautiful for your home. I'm just going to pick it up, and I hope that you really enjoyed doing something expressionistic with me. Be blessed.